Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Two Cool Caregivers. I am Erica.
And I am Jacquelyn.
And we are Two Cool Caregivers.
Every day. Okay, so happy to be back. Today's episode is how to deal and communicate with friends and strangers who are not caregivers. But first, we're gonna do a little bit of an update. We haven't been on the pod for a little while, and so we have some life updates. And I just want to catch up with you. How have you been, Erica?
Bro, I'm good. And I
Yeah.
mean it. Like when I say I'm good, I am good.
To mean that you're good is a whole different thing from just saying it. So that's
Yeah,
exciting to hear.
especially because I usually just say it to spare strangers asking how I am from being horribly depressed by my actual answer.
Let me pull out the list.
Oh, I just got peed on this morning. My mom choked. No, bro, I am like on top of the world right now. The last few weeks have been such an exercise in thriving on my own. I bought a blazer that I needed. That's how good my life is right now. I
You said
need
you need
blazers
it?
for meetings,
Oh my
like
God. That means
with
you're out of the
people out
house.
outside, like not here. Well, they've been here too, but the blazers are for out there.
First of all, the fact that you get to buy outside clothes and then wear outside clothes, amazing.
It's
I
so
got so tired of
exciting.
wearing sweats. I was like, I want to look like a lady again.
Bro, I bought a bra with wires for the first time since 2019. That's how serious I am about being a grown up right now.
Those puppies are supported now. They're
I
like,
feel I feel supported not only mentally and spiritually, but physically as well now. But yeah, I've been throwing myself into the most amazing creative project with my husband. We're working on a true crime docu-series together that I can't talk about too much yet, but everything is going insanely well.
oh my God, you're so Hollywood. We can't talk about it,
Oh,
but
do you want to know how Hollywood I am? Dude,
how Hollywood.
oh man, I had the best time the other day because I got to send an email that said, "Thanks so much. Can you send the offer to my agents? Can you
Talk
send
to
the
my people.
offer to my agent?"
I can't discuss this with you. You have to talk to the people who take care of this for me. That
I
is
have
when
management now.
somewhat made it. You're in the making it like you're on the road
I
to.
am so on the road. I have blazers. I can say, talk to my people. I am in a great headspace.
Ugh, I feel
Oh,
so
all right.
honored to be co-hosting this podcast with you at the moment. Oh my
Oh my
God.
God, I feel the same way. I'm finally on your level.
Oh my
Speaking of my thriving co-host, how's that thriving going over there,
Hi.
Jacquelyn?
So I am thriving in the post care of my mom in the way that I am completely unsure of who I am as a human being.
Hey,
But
at least you're not sure that you're a bad human being.
you know,
Positives.
I'm so sure that I'm a great human being that I
Yeah.
question if I'm too good sometimes.
See, I think that's the best place to be. Please elaborate.
Um, oh, well, look, this is a caregiving topic, but I think this is maybe something that is coming up for me now because I'm post-care and I feel like I gave up so much of my career while caring for my mom.
Hmm.
Unless like I'm making career advancements. I'm signed also actually, and so I'm like really excited about that. But like I comparison is the thief of joy, and I
Hmm.
am comparing myself to people that I was working with prior to starting caring for my mom and seeing the heights and the levels and the pay that they're at now, and just having to like re-get on that horse. And I don't have the stamina that I had in my 20s. And so like it just feels so much harder to push my way up that hill again.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think when you talk about comparing yourself to others who are not on your path, that is like the most insanely relatable mental bug that like we all try and have to kill at some point because comparing yourself to others it's a natural instinct, especially when we're in an isolated state where we feel so far away from all these other people who are thriving, wearing their blazers, going out with their wire bras to meetings, and we're here in sports bras cleaning up poop, you know? So it's really hard to train yourself to not only not compare yourself, but also to not resent anyone or anything because they're at a different place than you are. And I think that can kind of bring us into today's topic, which is how to deal with people who aren't caregivers and how to communicate with the outside world. And
Yeah.
to talk about communication, I think we need to start with talking about shame. I have a
Mm.
sound effect. Wait.
What?
Shame,
Yes, more.
shame, shame, shame,
Shame.
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 Shame. Shame.
Shame,
Shame. Shame.
shame, shame, shame. It is an all too relatable caregiver feeling, shame. It's something that like we all grapple with eventually. And when we feel embarrassed, that's when we start shutting down and stop communicating our needs, which is not what we need to do. And it stops us from effectively communicating with others. Whether it's a personal disappointment, like you think you did something wrong, or it's a disappointment that comes from the person you're taking care of. Say you're in public and they're doing or saying something wildly inappropriate that's just embarrassing to you. I'll give a quick fun example of my least favorite thing that my mom would do when she was at her chattiest stage. Whenever my mom would see an overweight woman, she would point at them and very excitedly scream, Mama Cass, Mama Cass, which is a joke that if you're like over 40, you might get. Mama's in the Papa's Mama Cass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
This might
luckily
be a
it wasn't a
cultural
joke that most
thing
people
too.
understood, but I knew what she was doing.
I understand. So, okay. My mom wasn't a like talker,
Mhm.
but she would take things from the grocery store all the time. And I
Oh,
was
so
just,
she's
oh,
a thief.
she
Okay.
was, but not knowingly. She was just
No,
like,
no.
this is something I want. I think, why would I hold that as the thing? Hold on.
Wait, wait.
That was a grinder. Be like, oh, this is something I want. And sometimes I would like notice it and sometimes not. And she would like clearly just walk out
Yeah.
and usually she would get it, she would do it without being caught. And I was like, this is maybe a skill that we should develop into something else.
Let's teach you to take some more expensive things next time,
Let's
Mom.
walk into a
Put the
bank.
tape back. Let's get a fucking steak
Yes,
in this
I'll cover,
bag.
guys. It's fine. Yeah. So
So like when that would happen and people would stare, did you notice that initially your response was kind of different over time?
people would, say something. We got stopped one time, excuse me. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But like literally, I was like, she has Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
And I I was more embarrassed starting out. And then I just accepted it over time and was like, this is just my mom. And sometimes she sees a candy bar in the store and I don't know that she has it until we walked out. And I'm like, well, they'll figure it out. Like
Yeah.
it's a
So
candy bar.
and if not, like we can rely on ourselves to explain the situation in a way that doesn't further embarrass our parent, you know?
Yeah.
And ideally educates people, which we'll get back to in a minute. But I think the funny thing about shame and embarrassment is you really only feel it when you think there's something worth being embarrassed about. And
Mm,
break it down logically as a caregiver. There's no real reason why we should feel like we need to hide our loved ones or hide our problems, hide their problems. And the thing is with embarrassment and shame, like there's no need to hide that. And learning how to communicate why things are embarrassing, why you feel ashamed it's not only an important tool for yourself as a communicator, but it's actually a really good opportunity to take like an awkward public situation and turn it into an opportunity to educate a stranger.
For me, something I can say is that my family held shame for like many generations, and it just
Mhm,
became a very normal thing. And so I don't even know if I knew that I was shameful of some things because we just hid. Like that's just
mhm,
who we were. We didn't talk about such and such or so and so. And so it was just ingrained in the dynamic of who we were until we couldn't hide it anymore.
mhm,
So like sometimes you don't even know that you're holding shame or that you're stopping yourself from speaking what the truth is. You just done it your entire life.
And I think what really, other than time and practice and patience, I think what really helped me learn to shed the shame and the negativity was the more I would be out in public with my mom and the more I would observe how the outside world reacted to her. I think that definitely instilled me with a sense of not defensiveness, but like an eagerness to speak up. Usually that came from the bad shit I saw. Taking being a caregiver really, really opens your eyes to just like how the world can often neglect disabled people. And there's like seeing a lot of bullshit firsthand is a great motivator and a teacher for learning how to speak up and advocate for your person. Like, I cannot even count how many times a man has closed a door on my mom's wheelchair while we're like halfway through, you know? Yeah, it's funny how nobody really expects you to call them out for their shitty, rude behavior. Um, but I live for calling people out on shitty, rude behavior, especially strangers who closed the door on my mom's wheelchair. I think little things like that, an accumulation of learning how to say, hey, can you hold this door open? Or, hey, can you grab that over there for me? I have like 20,000 things in my hands. Um, and then there's also like when people interact with my mom in a way that I immediately see as behavior that needs to be corrected. Um, I'll start with the most popular one. People talking about them like they're not in the room. When someone, a doctor is a great example, a doctor during a doctor's visit, and they're saying things like dementia, death, years to live, swallowing, like really hard things. Like take a step out of the room, talk to them out of the room, just little things where you can vocalize what their needs are and what your needs are is a great lesson in standing up for yourself and standing up for your person.
I think when communicating with people who aren't caring for someone or who have not, like, they don't know the nuances of how to move around this world. And so I'm always hoping, like, you're not coming from a place of just trying to be a malicious jerk turd, but I just made that up.
I love that word, Jacquelyn. Jerk
Putting
turd.
it in
Go
the
on.
dictionary tomorrow. Um, but like there, like one time I was literally out with some friends of mine who have never cared for someone. And there was a lady with her mom trying to exit the door, and she was in a wheelchair. And all of my friends just cut in front of her and walked out. And I like stopped there and I like held the door so that they could exit. And my friend stopped and then she looked at me and she said, I didn't even see them. Like she was like socialized just to not even see them.
And
And to be honest, that was me.
Yeah. But hearing that after that had already became you, how did you take that when she said I didn't even see him? Because I
I was
think
like, what do
as a
you mean you didn't
friend,
see him?
it's really hard to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to hear it because you feel so unseen all the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, of course. Of course you didn't see them. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
But this is also like when you have to get a little bit of compassion and get a little bit of perspective. I was, a much more self-involved human prior to, learning about care and learning about how we don't have the societal supports that we need. We don't even have the culture that teaches us to see people in wheelchairs. So, like, of course, they like them not being placed in a situation to care for someone, it's so foreign to them. So
Mm-hmm.
foreign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I think that's why it's easier for me to correct strangers as opposed to friends because I love my friends, and uh I don't love strangers. And I think when I see bad behavior coming from a stranger, it's not even a thinking process for me to immediately call it out. And I notice that when that happens, especially if they catch me on the right day and I'm able to do it not rudely, it kind of has a domino effect of understanding. The first example that comes to my mind was what last time my mom and I were on a plane together. Obviously, already a very difficult excursion for someone in a wheelchair. But I remember when we were deplaning and getting out of the plane, I was with my mom in the wheelchair walking down that very narrow hall. And there's like two men who just like barreled by and like pushed her wheelchair to the side. And the second I raised my voice to say, excuse me, the people behind me had heard my excuse me, and my frustration dominoed affected, and I had people like rows behind me supporting me saying like, hey, wait your turn, there's a disabled person in a wheelchair who's in front of you trying to get off. um so I think when it comes to correcting strangers, I mean, at this point I have no issue with it. When it comes to before we get into how to deal with friends who aren't caregivers, before we get into how to deal with friends who aren't caregivers, I also want to talk about how to deal with caregivers as a caregiver. Finding someone who cares as much as you do is hard. It's something every caregiver is going to be able to relate to, is finding another you. It's a really hard thing to do. And I think that's another time when I have to be especially communicative of my mom's needs, because I'll notice situations where obviously they're not going to pick up on what she's communicating. My mom is like 98% mute, like only I'm going to fully understand what she needs. So when a caregiver is trying to feed her and she won't open her mouth and they decide for her, oh, she's not hungry, or she's not saying she has to go to the bathroom, so she must not need to go to the bathroom. Anything that someone says that takes away your loved one's agency, I think is the right time to speak up.
Absolutely. When dealing with a caregiver, also, I think that anything that takes away their agency and anytime that like they're filling in a role that the person being cared for can still do, like making sure that they like let her still, you know, cut up her steak.
Yeah.
Who's this lady eating steak? um, this is Wagyu, so please,
She likes to cut her own Wagyu, okay?
please let her. Gosh, so uncouth.
Give her as much caviar as she wants.
Spoonful. She likes it by the spoonful. Yeah, so I totally agree with things like that. Being a young caregiver also teaches you how to advocate for yourself and speak up for your own needs by learning how to ask others for help, what you could be asking for help with, and also who to seek help from.
Oh, yeah, I like this. I like this how, what, who. So, what are the things that we can be asking for help with that'll make our lives easier? I think the easiest way is to just go one by one and identify all the tasks that you know someone else could handle, like grocery shopping, food prep, running like a quick little errand, things that don't
Picking
require like 5 years of trial and error, like pseudo nursing. You had an example?
picking up a prescription.
Yes, yes. Little small things like that, but also identify the things you know aren't your strength. And if you passed it off to a professional, it might make your life a lot easier. There are really big things that we do every day that we probably don't even consider outsourcing. Things like daily physical therapy, things like activities in in a daycare setting, like you could outsource that to a professional physical therapist. Either they have offices, they could send them to your house. Insurance has a lot of different opportunities. I had my mom go to a physical therapy once where they just gave her a back massage every week. It was awesome. Yeah. So little things like that where maybe you're there watching, or maybe it's just like they come over to the house and you get 30 minutes while they work on your parent, little things like that. Adult daycare, when my mom was eligible for that, those few hours, a few times a week, was the best decision I had ever made for me and her, because it was great for both of us. But there are a lot of big deal things that you can outsource, that's going to take something off your plate.
I also think that like there's two things that I want to say that there will be the people who say no. And so just girt your loins and prepare yourself for that. And there will be people who say no by proxy of saying yes. And so they will say yes because they just want to come across nice, but the actual answer is no, and they won't show
I
up.
I love that you said that, because when I really need to get that yes. Like I just had my really good friend agree to come watch my mom for a few hours this weekend because my husband and I have an important business meeting.
Mm.
And
She's
I
gonna
she
wear a
said
bra.
yes, but when she said yes,
Like she's gonna wear a bra with a wire
I told her about the bra
and a blazer.
and the blazer, but just the bra. It's just going to be a bra with a blazer
With
over
the
it, just to be
blazer.
clear. I didn't buy any shirts or pants.
This is how you're gonna wow them in
They're never going to forget me.
ever.
But yeah, my friend agreed. And I know she loves me. She loves my mom. But when people do agree, I still have that little like seed of, are they sure? Like it's such a big thing. Like, are they actually going to? And I just like take out your phone, put it in your calendar. Let's make it a real yes. But
Mm,
just having the gall to ask without fear of the no's, because they come. Like our
yeah.
lives are full of no, I can't help yous, like just it's about not letting the no's make you stop asking.
And that something that may help with that too is maybe for the people who you know will show up or who have said that they will have a list of 3 things that they can do and have them just choose one. That way
Ooh.
they see what you need and then they can choose what works for them. And so it's like they still help you, but from their vantage of what they have the capacity for.
That's a really helpful and just smart way of going about asking for help, because it also it puts less pressure on the person you're asking, because I think that's our biggest fear with asking is we don't want to feel like we're any more of a burden than we already are, even though like we're the best people in the world and like we're not a
We're
burden at all.
amazing. We're God's favorite.
But
We're God's favorite.
because even like we're God's favorite and we have agents, like it's whatever. But I think taking stock of your responsibilities and outsourcing whatever you can is the best way. And knowing how to ask for help is also a really big deal. Because while you may be overly aware of all the ways your job is like the hardest fucking job in the world, you're also aware that the outside world sometimes has no fucking idea how hard we work.
They can't because they haven't done it. But I
Yeah.
feel like there's so many assumptions.
Yeah.
But we're here to tell you that the assumptions are wrong and that we work all day. Okay.
If we were going to, yeah, no, anytime someone makes a reference to, you just sit on the couch all day, right? Bro, I haven't sat down in 4 goddamn years, sir.
Sir,
Sir,
calm down.
sir, I haven't sat down in 4 years. So I think when it comes to, sorry, what were you saying?
The simple fact that if you're caring for someone who is incontinent and you can't smell urine when you walk in someone's home means that they are not sitting all day.
Right. Yeah, dude. So like when it comes to how we ask for help, we need to be really specific with the tasks and the situations that we need help with. And I think when we do that, we need to be brutally honest with other people with the ways that we are struggling. I know it's sometimes one of the harder things for us to do is to be truthful because we know how bad it is. We know that it took years and years of training our brain to look at everything with fairy dust and positivity when the world around us is burning, you know? So we definitely have a very particular disposition that other people have no fucking clue about. So when we ask for help, we need to be very not only very specific, but we need to tell people why we need the help. You know, it's not as simple as, "Hey, friend, would you mind since I know you're going out to my favorite restaurant and I couldn't go because I have mom responsibilities? Can you bring me back some leftovers so I don't have to cook dinner?" But elaborate on that. You know, don't just tell your friend you're too busy to go out to dinner with them. Can you bring me something? Say, "Hey, I've been crying like all day today. My mom did X, Y, and Z. It made me feel like X, Y, and Z. I'm so sad I can't go join you for your dinner plans, but I would love to see you for like 10 minutes and I would love to eat food without having to worry about preparing it. Can you do this for me?" You know, and I think that's a way that we talk to our friends that not only sets us up in a position where we might be able to get some extra help, but they also have a better understanding of why we need the help, you know?
And that takes being vulnerable.
Hmm.
And so, which also means losing some shame. And I think that's why starting with shame was really important because you aren't able to be vulnerable with the people that you need help from if you don't let go of some of the shame that comes with caring for someone.
Yeah, dude, seriously. And like it's such a natural instinct to not want to burden others with our problems and our feelings. When it comes to shame, like I said it before, but like there is absolutely no logical reason that a caregiver should ever feel bad asking for help. Only good things can come when you ask for help, you know? Like, yeah, you might get a no, like whatever, that's not the end of your world, but still, you're communicating your needs and it'll make your day to day easier. And your honesty will help educate the people and the friends around you and just teach them how to better help us in general, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I also think that like the shame that we deal with can also come from feeling like we should have control of everything and feeling like we should know what we're doing. When in actuality, and something that we don't talk about a lot as a society is one person is not meant to fill in the gap for one human. Like it takes a community to care for someone. And I think when you put the weight of, well, I should know this. I should be able to take care of so and so, blah 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 blah. Because we don't talk about how care is actually a community activity and how it actually needs more than one person. We tend to burn ourselves out with, well, I should this and I should that. And I think the more that we realize that like we are already burnt out being the sole caregiver for one person and that we actually should have help, then you can lose some of the shame that comes with not showing up in a way that you feel you should. Because there is no one way for one person to show up for one person 100%. It's quite literally impossible.
Yeah. Well said.
Who should we be asking for help? This is where the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people comes in. I always say, get you a caregiver friend. That's like what I tell everyone, get you a caregiver friend. Because even if you're not caring for someone right now, they will clue you into what you will be dealing with at some point. Because everyone will either care for someone or need care by the end of their lifetime. So be intentional and selfish with creating your social circle and surround yourself with and make time for the friends who like doing what you want to do. Free time is precious.
Once you realize just how important and precious your free time is, that gives you license to be a little more selfish with it, It's been a while since I've unwillingly dragged myself to things I don't want to go to. Like, I hate bars. I'm not going to drag myself out to a bar because that's what my group of friends is doing. And this is the one time I have to go out. And I'm not going to want to put all my fun time energy into an activity I don't consider that fun. It's important to identify the friends who have similar interests with you already, identify your massage buddy, identify your hiking buddy, identify your smoke weed on the couch and do absolutely nothing buddy, identify your drinking buddy if you like to go rage, find friends who also love doing the things that you love doing in your free time. So when you do go out and do those activities, not only are you doing something that you already want to do, but you're socializing, which is so important for people like us.
Yes. Yes. And I think something that I've also learned is really important is you have different friends for different things. And like, that's okay. You can spread yourself amongst a multitude of different communities to get what you need fulfilled because one friend group might not match everything that you need.
I'm so glad you said that because I think something that comes with realizing these things and being an open communicator is realizing that some relationships and certain people won't be capable of giving you what you want or need or showing up for you in the way that you want and need. So it's also really important to remember to manage your expectations and accept people's strengths and weaknesses and don't over expect, because when you over expect, you're gonna just end up resenting them for things that they might not even have the capability to really empathize with you on. So if your fun friend just wants to have fun, that's fine. That's your fun friend. If your like ride or die, like emotional support therapy friend is cool with you crying to her, good. That's your crying friend. Take advantage of that. Like maybe don't go party with them, but go party with your party friend, identify your friend's strengths and weaknesses so you don't find yourself resenting or over expecting and putting yourself in situations where you're going to be let down, you know?
We all hear how making new friends in your 30s is hard. And I'm sure the older you get, it gets even harder. You know, like we have so much life in the way. And so finding space for people can be really hard, but not everyone that was in your life before becoming a caregiver will fit in your life once you have that role. And so connecting with new people outside your existing social circle and focusing on finding people with shared values and interests is really important.
That's literally how I found Jacquelyn. I saw her on the internet and I said, I want to be your friend. And then we became friends, you
And
know?
that's how it happens.
It's very scary as an adult person making new friends. But the not scary part is everyone that you're wanting to reach out to in this community also really wants you to reach out to them. You know, we have this benefit where we all feel the same bad stuff, you know, we all feel a little isolated, a little lonely, and we can recognize that feeling in other caregivers immediately. It's
Mhm.
such an instant bond that can happen with a caregiver friend. So just making that initiative is such a big step in growing your tribe and making your own community of friends, you know?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Aww.
Mm.
Like literally, I've come out of care since I'm no longer caring for my mom with a whole host of new friends and like new people who I truly care about. And if you give yourself the opportunity to build community while you are caring for someone, you will leave it with friends who can still help you while you're mourning and recouping. Because one thing I can definitely tell you is that caregiving is one chapter, but aftercare is a whole other chapter because you end up giving up so much of yourself that finding yourself again is another chapter. And having
And you need friends who know how to replenish that part of you, you know, like friends that can recognize, like Jacquelyn loves writing, but she's been so busy. I haven't seen her write in forever. You know, a friend that knows that about you and says, like, hey, I know this is important to you. Take some time for this, you know, like friends who see you. And I think a caregiver friend can see what someone else really needs because
yeah,
we're our whole job is identifying needs and fixing problems, you know. And when you have that person in like a friendship relationship where it's not like a caregiver relationship, it's a reciprocal friend relationship, it feeds you so well,
it
so
does.
well.
Aw, this was
Mm.
beautiful. Um, let's all take like a nice woosah at the end. We did a really good job.
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. Did you ever have to sing that in preschool?
Wow.
Do you no idea what I'm
I
talking?
was so like, so the song that I had to sing was I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead.
Then lead the way.
Oh, I'm giving away age and now. Oh well, whatever. That's so funny. So, how are we going to close out?
To wrap it up, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. Um, I believe the children are our future, right,
Teach them
Jacqueline?
well and let them lead the way.
Yes. You know what? Honestly, I think that's actually a pretty good wrap up of what we talked about.
How can people find you, Erica?
You guys can find me. I'm at Badass Caregiver everywhere. And how can the people find you, Jacqueline?
The people can find me at Mom of My Mom on every platform ever imaginable. You can also find me at momofmymom.com. I started a Patreon because I'm sharing what it's like to write a memoir about caregiving, and it's so hard. Dear God. But if you want to join that journey, I talk about it a lot on my Instagram. So if you follow Mom with My Mom Instagram, you will find the link to all of that.
Yes, and make sure you follow our podcast as well. We are at Two Cool Caregivers, also pretty much everywhere. It's spelled with the number 2 on Twitter.
To finish this off, I hope you are supported the same way Erica's new bras are supporting her in these meetings that she has.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect, Jacquelyn. All right. Well, with that said, be cool.
And take care.
Bye bye.